Welcome to Kick 'Em in the Head, a podcast that takes an inside look at the world of mixed martial arts, featuring interviews with some of the top fighters from South Africa and around the world, with a focus on the EFC and UFC promotions. I'm your host, Yaw. Join us as we delve deep into the techniques, strategies, and mindsets of these world-class athletes, learning from their experiences and gaining insights into what it takes to succeed in the toughest sport on earth. Shaheed.
Yo, my homie.
UFC 293. I'm just going to go straight into it because,
Yo.
I mean, wow.
Yo.
I know we're like 4 days out or whatever, but I think the reverberations are still being felt because we have a new middleweight champion, Sean Tarzan Strickland.
Dirty mouth Strickland, more like it. But yeah, man, shivered. That was insane. All I can say is watch, guys. Like, subscribe, because we called it. I can show you my bet card. I placed the bet on Sean. I had the feeling. If you listen to the show, you'll know.
Inside track. What did you think of the fight?
Wow, man. Do you know what? I don't even think we can jump straight into it. Let's go. Let's start from the bottom of the.
I'm sorry.
Let's start from the bottom of the main card.
You know how it makes me feel. But
Yeah, I know. Yeah, let's start with Justin Taffa with his amazing little.
light breaking dance at the end of his win.
Wow.
Versus Austin Lane.
I love it. Oh my word, with the tummy shake, it was awesome. I loved it. So wholesome celebration. Loved it.
After a vicious knockout.
Vicious as flip, man. It was beautiful. It was an awesome start to the main card, and then leading into the next fight, which, wow. I don't know if Kappa was like energized from the interaction with Israel, but wow, that violent knockout. Gee whiz, I felt sorry for Felipe dos Santos, but he was facing a fired up Kappa.
But Felipe brought it. Like, Felipe was in the fight the whole time. He was there. He was punching. He was kicking. He was on top of Kappa. Kappa was just the better fighter.
Yes.
Much better fighter, much more skill, but Felipe was there. He showed, as you said, why he deserved to be given a shot against the number 10, whereas he's unranked and on his debut.
Yes, and I did forget about Pedro. I'm so sorry about
Tyson
that.
Pedro.
I forgot about Pedro. Pedro with that samurai celebration at the end. Just a host of awesomeness from this Australian UFC, man. Wow. And then I called it. I said, Tuivasa. I said it.
Bam Bam lost. Yes.
And that was the first submission from Alex Volkanovski. Alex Volkanovski. Alex Volkov. Sorry, Volkov. It's a bit bigger version of
it's very similar. Alexander Volkanovski, Alexander Volkov.
It's close, but like there's big differences.
Heavyweight.
It was the first time Volkov had. It was not the first time, but it's the first time in a long time Volkov had finished a fight with a submission, and it was. I think it's just a testament to Bam Bam's toughness on the feet. He had to go for the submission. It was sad to see Bam Bam lose, but it was a good fight.
An Ezekiel choke. I did not know there was such a thing as an Ezekiel choke.
Yeah.
But he won by an Ezekiel choke. And I was watching with someone, and when we heard what he won by, we hosed out. What? Hey, man, I'm going to kick your butt by an Ezekiel choke. An Ezekiel choke? Wow.
Ezekiel. It's like the Amish, bro. Bring it out.
And for anyone who hasn't seen it before, you basically kind of just put your fist into the throat and just squeeze really hard.
Yep.
And that's a submission. That's an Ezekiel choke.
It's hectic, man.
You learn something new every day.
Hey, if you feel it, you'll know why people tap. Yo, it's hectic, man.
And then it was the main bout. The style bender versus Tarzan.
Wow.
And Tarzan came out on top.
Wow.
Once again, what did you think of the fight?
Insanity. I think it was the first time Israel's ever been, have had a, not a takedown, what is it? A knockdown in his career. He's been knocked out. He's been down, but he's never been knocked down. And that's the biggest thing. I think it shook his confidence to such a point where, like Strickland said, and there's rumors going around that something funny might have been happening with the fight. But for me, I felt that energy of like finished, man. That Strickland just overpowered him with will, and it was for somebody that is as talented as Adesanya is. It was strange to see. It was very strange to watch, but I didn't think he was gonna fight like. I didn't think Strickland was gonna fight like that, but I did have a feeling Strickland would win. What were your thoughts?
I think, like certain quarters do, that Izzy threw the fight.
Yo!
I'll say that.
Yo!
When I say through, I simply mean I don't personally understand the performance. I've seen him fight against Cannonier. He did a similar thing. That's exactly what Yoel Romero complained about. The people, the money, they pay the money. There's an entire soundbite of his fighting style when he goes into that fighting style. I get it. Sean Strickland's coach himself said it in the fight. We don't want a boring point fest. Go for it. But what we spoke about last week in terms of his energy, his demeanor, how he was coming and approaching the fight, then I saw the performance. I don't think it's the knockdown that shook him. I think there was something else afoot. And the only other thing I can think of with 600 to 1 odds, and that's all I'm saying. When you have odds like that, realistically speaking, then over and above that, seeing him on social media talking about being in his self-care era after a loss like that, I'm just saying, for me, hallmarks, but that's just me.
We've always spoken about sleeping on silk sheets, man. In MMA, people always say when there's no money in your pocket and you're hungry, it's the easiest time to fight. We've seen it all the time. We see it every time. Masvidal, all these guys, they were fighting, they were hungry, and then the minute they get that payday, the minute you drape in that Versace tracksuit, it all starts to go downhill. But for Adesanya, we haven't seen that. And all of a sudden, this movie comes out. He's trying to fight with this little guy, like
letting Kape get under his skin.
Yeah, and he said, Kape made a brilliant point. Kape said, I said to Adesanya what he said to Strickland. I said to Adesanya, worry about the man, worry about Sean. I'm going to fight with small men over there, and we go fight. Not worry about me. And he was worried about... He was worried about Kape. And he got knocked... Well, he didn't get knocked out, but he got knocked down. And he lost his championship. And to somebody that nobody in the history would ever think this would happen. Like, subscribe, share, because I did, baby.
Your betting slip says so, doesn't it?
Hey, bro. And I think in one of the earlier podcasts, we spoke about how would the UFC come to South Africa. And this leads in to the next conversation we're having about the middleweight contenders. I believe that Israel doesn't deserve the instant rematch because he's instant rematched like 4 times, man. Every time, every time he loses the title, we're just gonna let him fight for it again.
Well, it's only been twice.
Yeah, but yeah, okay. Maybe I'm being a bit
And I'm defending
biased.
Israel in this instance. As much as I think he was untoward, everything you said is quite right. Silk sheets. Okay.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, I would love to see Strickland versus Dricus.
Or somebody.
Yeah, or somebody.
Honestly, yeah.
But I was speaking to Ntando Zondi, and he was saying that this could be the end of the South African UFC, but I think it's just the beginning. And then he said that Dricus needs to be Sean. He needs to be Sean. He needs to have the biggest mouth that he's ever had. He needs to say what he needs to say. He needs to say it loud so he can get that shot. Because Pablo and Chimaev are coming.
It's a stacked division right now if you're looking at all the guys who are in there with a potential, not just title shot, but with the skill where you want to see them fight. The fans want to see them fight. Right now, it's looking like the UFC's strongest division. The light heavyweight is a mess.
Yeah.
Your heavyweight is confusing.
Yes.
Everyone's trying to vie for position. Your welterweights, well, it's stacked. But right now, middleweight is the most competitive division.
It is, and it's probably the most entertaining division, with the leader of the pack being probably the most entertaining fighter out there. Like, he is content gold. Anything that comes out of this dude's mouth will be memed, will be shown like everywhere. And that's the biggest thing about Sean Strickland. And now, if he fights against Pablo, we know he's got bad blood with Pablo. So that's going to be an insane build-up to a fight. Next, we've got Chimaev. Him and Chimaev, he said it, Chimaev's scary. It will be a good build-up anyway, because everybody wants to see Chimaev go for gold. The next one is Dricus.
Wait, are you saying Chimaev straight to title shot?
Yes. I'm saying
Middleweight title shot.
I'm saying that if he beats Pablo, this has become a number one contenders fight.
Yes, I saw that.
Between him and Pablo. So if he beats Pablo, he will be in for gold.
Borachinia, it's the secret juice. We know it's Paulo, don't worry.
Do you know what I love? One day when I'm big and buff, I'm also gonna come here without my shirt on and stand and be like, "You know my secret chosa." I love it. I love that, man. Content gold as well. And the build up to those fights, entertaining. You throw Dricus in there, give him a bit more KFC chicken, extra recipe spice, and your boy's got good build-ups.
Do you think Dricus will be forgotten? Chael Sonnen said that based on Costa Chimaev becoming a number one contender match, does that mean Dricus falls by the wayside?
If he doesn't open his mouth and start saying big things, he is going to be lost. He's going to get a contender shot in 4 years' time. And is he going to win then? No. Is he going to win now? It's flipping good possibility. In 4 years, we don't know what's going to happen to him. We don't know. Maybe he goes into movies. Maybe he goes and lives in Las Vegas, marrying Miley Cyrus and living a good life, yo. So we don't know what's going to happen. But right now...
Wait, he's going to marry Miley Cyrus.
We don't know, man. We don't know.
Fair enough, we don't know.
Hey, man. Dricus good looking, Miley's good looking, and we make good looking kids. Blonde hair, blue eyes, you know what I'm saying?
Blonde hair, blue eyes, Valentina Shevchenko versus Alexa Grasso for the women's featherweight championship.
This comes into the thing that we've had 6 new UFC champions this year. Grasso being one of them. Grasso coming again to defend a title against the most dangerous, the most
dominant. Between her and Nunes.
Did you know what? There's who said it? I think who got knocked out by Masvidal? Askren. Askren always used to say Valentina is some sort of Russian spy. She had another interview where somebody was like, "You're basically like John Wick." Like in terms of fighting style, in terms of like personality. And then she says, "No, I more relate to a James Bond, a person that can assess every situation, can be in every situation, and have the best skills to accompany that situation." And in terms of her fighting style, she is definitely a 007. But Grasso did pull off the upset, so we'll have to see.
I mean, this is a rematch that we've all been looking forward to. I mean, seeing Valentina come back after getting her face squeezed until the blood has stopped running to the lowest part of her face. That was just crazy squeeze. So who are you going for in that match? Let's work down the card. Let's start at the top this time around.
Grasso. Underdog. I'm going for the underdog.
If I look at the odds, she's a plus 140 favorite. Underdog. I go Grasso.
Nice!
Yes. Because I think she clocked Shevchenko with that choke, how she got her with the kick. You saw her practicing. Let's see what happens. The next match, Jack Della Maddalena versus our boy, Trailblazer, Superman,
Big Mouth
himself, Big Mouth, Kevin Holland.
Wow. I am a huge fan of Kevin Holland. I will never bet against Kevin Holland.
Even though he's the underdog?
Even though he's the underdog. When he loses, he wins. When he wins, he wins. I'm a huge fan of Kevin Holland. I will never, ever, ever bet against Kevin Holland because we've seen what he does in these unexpected situations. When he was in the lightweight division, But when he was in the middleweight division, he was on the floor, right? And Jakar, I think, was on top of him, and he just leapt up.
Yes.
Knocked him the duck out. That you can never ever count out Kevin Holland. Anytime, anywhere, any place. And it's beautiful. Love it. Who you got?
You know, Della Maddalena is a new phenomenon in the UFC. He's been upcoming, hence he's gotten a fight in a co-main event against, honestly, a Hall of Famer, future Hall of Famer, Kevin Holland. Kevin takes any fight because he's Kevin.
Yes.
I think I'm going to have to go with the underdog, Kevin Holland. Honestly, Jack. Okay, the thing is, Jack is on a tear.
Yes.
And
who was he supposed to fight? This was a short notice fight, right?
it was a short notice fight. I'm not sure who his last opponent was supposed to be, but I know Kevin stepped in. Let's see.
Robert. Yo, he's not fighting me. Yeah.
No, this is his fight. I don't think there was anyone else supposed to be there. But look, with who he's fought, he hasn't fought the biggest names, but he's shown he has a high level of skill. Hence, he's going up against someone like Kevin Holland, who we know can pretty much beat anyone on any given day. So I go Holland.
Holland.
Okay. And the other one that is of interest here is, I think, the 19-year-old, 20-year-old?
Yes, Rosa.
Raul Rosas Jr. versus Terrence Mitchell. Terrence Mitchell, who was supposed to fight our local Cameron Simon, but that fight got cancelled.
Yes.
Rojas, who's off his first loss. How does this fight go?
So Raul is young and hungry. Terrence Mitchell's good, man. I think it will be a good test for the youngster. It's Mexican energy, right? So we've got this UFC octagon placed in the middle of tequila field there. I don't know what the name of it. I swear I saw something about tequila, guys. Please don't crucify me for that one. But I really do believe that Rosa Jr. has the Mexican energy with him. He's backed by all the people there. There's such a good vibe going into the press conferences. We've got, I think, another new. There's Tracy Cortez that's coming in. Unfortunately, we know her because she's attractive. I'm sure she can fight really well, but I just
She can definitely beat me. I'm probably sure. She trains enough. But
So we know there's this Mexican energy. It's in Mexico. There's a Mexican champion. So I'm gonna go with Junior on this one, man. Who you got? But Mitchell's dangerous.
I'm hoping that he's learned from his last fight.
Yeah.
And that he understands that hype training is great, but that means that they throw you really far, really fast. So, based on the maturity I heard from him after the last loss, I'm going Mitchell.
Nice. I think it could go either way. I do think Mitchell is a good pick. Because if we've seen Mitchell, we know how he is. He's young, he's hungry, he's focused, and there's nobody. He is firmly set on becoming a champion. He sees the opening against Sean O'Malley. He feels himself being able to fight against Sean.
He's been there longer.
Yeah, he's been there longer, and he is showing. I think he's got the focus, but I've got feeling the Mexican energy.
There's no odds on that fight, so we'll see what happens. 7-1 versus 15-3.
It's gonna be an interesting one.
An interesting one, yes, similar to Fury versus Ngannou.
Yo, talking about energy, dog.
I mean, did you see the face-off?
Wow.
Little man, you small man.
Yo.
I'm quoting Tyson Fury, by the way, the Gypsy King.
Yo, I don't know, man. What do you feel about that fight? There's two camps about it. How do you feel?
Like they said, Ngannou's, and like we've said before, Ngannou, hard puncher. If he hits Tyson, I don't know if Tyson's body will survive, quite frankly. But this is the Gypsy King, and based on the face-off, Tyson looks bigger than Ngannou. As much as we've seen Ngannou big, strong, muscular, hence the power, Tyson just looks larger, which means that as much as Ngannou will have the power, maybe Tyson can take it. Maybe being that shape, it ripples through his body and doesn't actually impact. I don't know, but I'm hoping for an Ngannou win, but like we said, it's the Gypsy King. He literally is the best in the world at this. But right now, what's interesting is that he's claiming that he can beat Ngannou at MMA.
Yeah, we know spicy things come out the Gypsy King's mouth all the time. I mean, if you watch the build-up, if you are boxing fans and you watch the build-up between him and Deontay Wilder, wow. The things that this man was saying were outrageous. But there's something strange I also felt in that face-off. Watching the two people, man, watching Tyson Fury and watching Ngannou. Tyson does his normal, like banter, his normal energy when the face-offs. Ngannou was like a laser focused. He is not seeing. I think a lot of MMA fighters do this thing when they transition. It's like it's a joke. I'm just coming to get paid. Like Ben Askren, just coming to get paid. But for Ngannou, if you look at that man's face, he is coming to fight.
Yep.
He is not coming to get a payday. He's not coming to get the bag. Everybody's like, oh, Ngannou got the bag, bro. Got the bag.
It's not about that for him.
It's not about... This man is a fighter. He's been fighting his whole life. And he looks at Tyson Fury like he looks at John Jones, he's been challenging the best in the world for years. This man is a competitor and he is coming to fight. So, like you said, if he gets that shot, it's about if he gets the shot. And if he gets that shot, I think there's a very good case for him to win that fight.
We'll see what happens. The odds on that are going to be so interesting. I'm definitely going to be betting on that one.
Yeah.
World Sport betting.
Ngannou.
I think so. Hopefully I'll make it easy money.
One day, baby. One day.
One other interesting thing that happened this past week is the merger between TKO, the parent company that has the WWE and UFC, was this week. Very exciting because now finally the WWE and the UFC have merged. And an interesting thing that was said by one of the representatives from the WWE was that they would like all the fans of the WWE to be fans of the UFC and fans of the UFC to be the fans of the WWE. And Dana White came back and said, I have absolutely no idea what he's talking about. He's full of
Exactly, because I mean, if you're a fan of WWE, I think it's almost inherent that you'll be a fan of the UFC. UFC is just WWE with real stakes
and blood
and violence and everything. The best thing that we could see is like the emergence of different sorts of titles. Like the WWE is famous for the intercontinental titles, the tag team titles, the UFC has started coming out with the BMFs, those sorts of titles. So are we gonna start seeing an emergence of new titles from the new company that's come out, TKO? And does this mean, is this the place where we do our transitions? Where we get our WWE fighters that want to transition to MMA in there. Maybe we get our UFC fighters that want to transition to WWE. Is this TKO? Is this the place where we do the crossovers and stuff like that? It's like the Marvel verse of fighting.
So it should be the nexus between them. However, this has been happening since the 90s. Like we said, we've discussed about Steve Blackman, Ken Shamrock, all those guys years ago coming across. So
Brock Lesnar most famously,
Ronda Rousey.
Yeah.
So that bridge already. Are you Derek Lewis?
Hey, Ronda.
So I think that bridge is already firmly in place. Where it comes to the titles, I'm not sure how I feel about that because you've got one championship. One championship has a similar structure where you've got multiple titles of multiple thises of multiple, and one person can go and hold multiple.
Yeah, like Rogatong, Iron Man. Check out Rogatong, man.
Rotang. Yes, he's fighting this weekend against Super Leg.
Yes, Rotang, man. That man is insane.
So how do you feel about there?
No, back to what you were saying. Yes.
How do you feel about there being this mishmash of now titles just sort of running around? Maybe because there could result in this. And Dana White has said before, he wants the UFC to focus on world champions, because technically at one they're saying we're focusing on combat as a whole. So how would you then feel about that?
There's two parts of it, man. It's like Jake Paul coming into MMA and all that sort of stuff. It's great for the sport. Is it great for the fans though? Because us as old school UFC fans, old school MMA fans, we've been watching for a very long time, and we're very entrenched in our way of understanding the climate of the title fights, understanding how people get title fights, understanding when Dana's in a mood, man. Like we as fans are very, I think, onerous of our idea of what UFC and MMA champions and MMA titles mean. The more you get these other titles in, these other things in, we get to a point where we are saturating down the meaning of the actual title. Yes, we're getting more people into the sport, and yes, it's great for MMA, it's great for the fighters, it's great that they get more money, it's great. But the original fans might feel a little bit hard done by.
The guys who used to wake up early, watch UFC back in the early 2000s where there were no rules. It was a free-for-all. You had Gary Goodrich and all kinds of characters in there. So I agree with you. It would feel like some sort of betrayal to the purity that the fighting is supposed to be. But we'll see what the hybrid brings. We'll see what it brings, because it does have a lot of opportunity for very interesting things and crossover also in terms of things like games.
Yes, and movies.
You know what time it is?
What time is it?
Fighter of the week. Fighter of the week.
It's time!
I think this is a very interesting week based on the fight week we've had. But you're going to go first this week.
I'm
fighter of the week?
I'm going first this week. Hey, my fight of the week is very close to home. Musa, bad news. I love Musa. I love Musa. Musa, I had an awesome chat with him. I love to see that he's coming back for the title at EFC 08.
108.
That EFC 108. I'm so sorry, guys. It's going to be awesome to see it. I love that he's not disheartened by the loss against Zulu Boy. All the drama, he's pushing it out, and he's going for the title, trying to get gold against Van Tonda. It's going to be an awesome one. And Musa, got your back, homie. Bring it home, baby.
So I think, once again, local flavor. I'm going to have to go with Gift. The Day Walker. Securing the title. Doing what he did. I think for me, in this week, it has to go to him. The perseverance he showed, the time he spent, all of that has finally shown in him getting the title.
Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord. And that's something we're definitely going to be chatting about to him soon, because we actually have an interview scheduled with him as well, just to find out about his championship run, his championship win. So yeah, this week, Gift the Day Walker.
I love it.
Local flavor all around, right?
It's beautiful, man. The things that people are doing here is awesome. But one thing that we definitely aren't here is cursed. Hey, Muhammad.
Back to the curse.
This is why I think that Israel actually lost. Elaborate on the cover curse, Muhammad.
That's a very good. Actually, no, I should have.
Yeah, you see.
So there is a UFC cover curse that has been going around, where the covers of the last 4 UFCs. So we're talking about John Jones versus Gustafsson. Gustafsson went on a skid after he was on the cover. We're talking about Ronda Rousey.
He lost
Rumble
to
Johnson.
Rumble Johnson.
Talking about Ronda Rousey. She was on UFC 2. She lost. We're talking about McGregor. He got choked out by Diaz. We're talking about McGregor again. He got choked out by Khabib.
Yeah.
Now we've got Adesanya knocked out by Blachowicz right after, because he was on UFC 4. And then you've got Masvidal, who was then knocked out by Usman. He was on UFC 4. And now you have Adesanya, Izzy, on the deluxe cover of 5.
and he just lost, which means Volkanovski and Shevchenko just lost as well. I mean, she's clearly already cursed.
Shevchenko lost already because she's already on. Yo, dog.
So Volkanovski is the only man alive. If he wins this, if he does not lose this title in his next fight, if he can beat the dreaded curse, he is definitely the GOAT. There's no question about it for me.
Who's he fighting against? Is it Holloway? Who's he?
It's Topuria. Do you think it's
Topuria?
I think it's Topuria.
No, isn't it Islam? Isn't he going?
No, he's not going back up.
Man. I don't know who he's fighting against next. But Drake, don't bet on your homie, boy. And that's also another part of this curse, man.
More curses, all curses.
Your boy got double cursed. He was on the cover, and then Drake had to come and throw the salt there. I don't know if he was in the.
Tell us more about the Drake curse. What's the Drake curse exactly?
Your boy Drake, dog. Your boy drops money on people, and people drop on the canvas. He put money on Masvidal, dropped on the canvas, bruh. He also got double cursed. He got UFC cover cursed, and he got Drake cursed.
He's done it with Barcelona. He's done it with basketball teams. When Drake bets, things go wrong.
And people fall, bruh. People fall hard. Drake curse, man. I can't even explain that.
I'm actually just trying to find out. So, who is supposed to fight Alex next? After he beat Rodriguez, there's been no real noise. We're talking about everyone else, and now they're vying for position, but he's kind of relaxed now. But it's Topuria, because they've been calling each other out recently on social media.
But Ilya, you know what? I don't think that Topuria actually has a leg to stand on. We've got brilliant fighters in... he did say he doesn't want... Alex did say he doesn't want Topuria to fight Max. To make...
Because Max just won again.
Yeah, to make Alex Max 4 is... I would love for Alex to lose and then Max can't take the title again, and then we have like a regeneration of the title. But it's horrible when we've got these fighters that are just so dominant, so good. Like Cabeza. Two amazing flyweights, right? That are so dominant and so good. What do you do with them? You just put them up against, put them up against fights. Let Alex go to lightweight. Let have an interim title there for a bit. I mean, he did one fight in lightweight. We had an interim title in there so quick. So
I think it was at the same event even.
Exactly.
So like, listen, if you're gonna do this, no.
Exactly. So maybe that's also something for the EFC. Cabeza, move up to lightweight, take a lightweight title so we can get an interim feather in there.
Double strapped even.
Yeah,
okay.
Man.
Something.
It would be lovely to see just the dominance of actually to liken these two fighters together. Both flyweight kings, both extremely dominant. Cabeza has the luxury to move out into other promotions. Alex does not. So what do we do with Alex? We just let him do whatever he wants, basically, I guess.
I say he just takes time off until someone's really hungry enough. Like, he can do the Brock Lesnar type of championship where he kind of just disappear for a while, year and a half. You know, let someone come in with an interim, see if they're good enough, and then do something. Or, like you said, go up to lightweight. Because otherwise, what else is he going to be able to do, realistically speaking, in the UFC? Maybe go back down a little bit further. He's too old to cut.
He's too old, yeah. And for him as a fighter, I think it's comfortable for him at feather. So either he's going to hold the title and retire with the title like John Jones did,
and Amanda Nunes.
The
GOAT. That's the real GOAT there.
The GOAT. And, the unretired GOAT, that's actually a conversation we need to have. Who is there multiple GOATs? Do you have multiple GOATs?
Well, if there's only one GOAT in the world, we would not get any meat from goats. There must be goats.
There must be multiple goats. I've always thought so. And there's goats for different things. I mean, we've got our mic goats. We've got our fighter goats.
Like Khotso Ramopo. Fighter goats like Igu Cabeza here in the EFC.
Exactly. And those guys that are just so dominant that you can't think of them without thinking about how dominant they are as fighters. Alex Volkanovski, Igu Cabeza.
Smiley.
And those two names go hand in hand. And I don't know how we've never talked about them like that. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Very true.
It's like Max Holloway and Faiz Jacobs. Max Holloway of the EFC, man, and hopefully one day the Faiz Jacobs of the UFC, baby.
And when he is, I'm not sure, but what's the best way you think he's going to use to end a fight? Kick him in the head!
Hey guys,